And we're back here at the main stage. And from railways, we're going to move to something completely different in many ways. Thanks to this pandemic, many companies, many teams have been forced to find ways to collaborate better and to be effective in a hybrid environment. And I'm super, super excited to have my new friend here, Wojciech, who is going to talk about hybrid collaboration. Why is it hard? And give us 3 hybrid collaboration concepts for high-performing in-office and remote teams. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy our next keynote. Stage is yours.
Thank you. It's January 2020, and it's probably cold outside. It's like minus 20 degrees. But in one of the offices of one of the companies, it's very hot inside. Can you imagine? It's very hot because after 2 years' time, after 24 months of hard negotiations, of checking the IT regulations, checking HR regulations, checking law regulations, and of course, talking to managers, talking to leaders, how is it going to be? After this long time, people finally get their 2 days working from home. Wow, can you imagine that? 2 days, they can start work from home. And nobody will ask why, where, when. They just can simply start work from home for 2 days. But it's January 2020. And you know what happened 2 months later? Well, 2 months later, everybody started to work from home with no exceptions. And so I did. So it wasn't, that easy, but let's say I was feeling very, very good because, I didn't have to wake up early. I didn't have to go with my kids at 6 o'clock to run them to kindergarten. It was totally fine. But after a few months, I felt like I'm being a little bit of, frustrated networker because my job wasn't really about Zoom meetings. My job was about being in contact with real people. So in normal life, I collaborated with people. I did some workshops, some trainings, some meetings with clients. And with March 2020, everything was over. So I was really frustrated. But I thought, let's see, what about my other friends? Let's see how they are doing. So I called my first friend, and I asked the real normal question, like friends are asking. So how are you doing? How was it like during this 18 months? And he said, wow, it was great. Wojtek, it was very great. It was like I failed because I totally felt like an autonomous person. Nobody looked at my computer. Nobody looked what I was doing. I could do my laundry during my work. I could, go for a shopping for 20 minutes. It was totally fine. So I felt, I'm not feeling well. He's feeling very good, so let's go ahead and try another friend. And this one was living alone in his home. He was, he didn't have any family. He didn't have any pets also, so he couldn't reach out and do the high five with anyone at home. He was a little bit isolated. And he told me that it wasn't good. I felt totally isolated. I couldn't find myself in here. What is more, definitely he said that he definitely was looking for some kind of a transition because his normal life and his professional life, but he couldn't find it. And I felt, okay, well, 2 of my friends, one is fine, second one is not fine. Let's get to my colleague that was the HR department girl. And for the first month, she said it was fine, it was definitely fine. She could go with her kids to the school. She had time to make them dinner, to make him a supper, or to breakfast, like for example. But after 3 or 4 months, everything was locked up, and her husband and her kids were at home. So she has to divide her time, her professional time, between Zooming and taking care of her family. But it wasn't a family, it was kids. So probably you can imagine like you are talking to your boss about very, very important thing, and then your kid comes over and says, Mommy, can I have another bottle of water? Or they're arguing with her sister. Probably you can imagine that. So she was definitely overwhelmed by that. And I felt, okay, it's fine. It's definitely fine. Well, I'm not very happy. She's not very happy. My other colleague is isolated. So let's reach out to another one. And I had a really good colleague in the IT department, and she felt like, well, it's fine. It was fine for her. She told me, I'm feeling very safe. And I say, well, feeling safe during pandemic time, it's quite obvious thing, right? You don't have to go out. You don't have to meet people. You are not, exposed to virus spread. So, yeah, she was safe. But it wasn't about this safety. She was safe because her company's culture was totally different. She was feeling like she was harmful in the company. So definitely a home was a place when she was feeling safe, but except her company. And then you may think that, okay, it's fine. 5 different people, but 2 of them were really doing fine. So what do you think? Do you find yourself here? Do you feel that some of you, or you think that you are one of my friends? What about it? Okay, so let's go back to home office. Okay, probably some of you are still working at home, and you are watching me probably sitting in your desk, at your desk in your chair. And if you are, thinking about companies, well, productivity was something that totally, run up. So companies were thinking, okay, during the pandemic time, during the lockdown, while the people are working from home, probably the productivity will go down because they are not, they are not relating, they are not collaborating. But it wasn't the case. The productivity was totally up, and the companies were starting to think, okay, so what happened? So there must be some kind of one thing that will make in the future that the productivity will go down. And definitely there was one, and there is one. And nobody knows when it hit productivity. Nobody knows that, but definitely it will hit one day. And it's the same sense of community. Probably, tell me, do you feel like, do you miss something? Like, do you miss your colleagues? Do you miss your spending time in cafeteria in your offices, or do you miss like hanging out on Friday's evening with your friends after the work is done? Do you miss that? And definitely, companies started to think about it because it wasn't that obvious that someone will start to think about it. So, how to make it for the people to feel the sense of community once again? And it's, well, one obvious thing, to go offline. And you may think, okay, Wojtek, what do you think by going offline? So what do you think by that? Well, we have Zoom, we have Teams, we have Skype. Well, okay, Skype is not a good software, I guess. I'm not the youngest one, but I also remember Skype. But let's say we have some very good software that is helping us to be still online. So why do you think that going offline is really important? And there is, of course, one thing. So there is one thing because probably some of you are sitting in your big apartments, maybe big houses that have your own rooms for meetings. You have great desks, very good adjustable chairs. But there are many people and we are not equal, right? And in terms of economy, we are totally different. And there are some people that are living in smaller apartments that having multi-purpose areas. And what is more, there are some people that are sharing one kitchen desk with their kids and with her beloved. So is it really about going offline because we don't share the space? Well, you may say yes. But probably still some of you are still staying at home and will never go back to the offices. But there are some people that will definitely won't go back to office or have these things to be mixed a little bit. And probably remember this, that we are different, right? We have different situations. We are working differently. We have different plans. Our schedules are different. We have different etiquettes of work, so definitely we are different. And connecting the dots together, it looks like, probably you know that. You have already I guess, engineered some great software, right? You engineer some products that are supporting this collaboration. I guess you did that already, or you're working on it. But the thing is that it's all about hybrid. And I must say one thing. Hybrid is here, right? And the other one is hybrid is hard. And hybrid work is really hard in terms of, how you connect people. And it's not that easy that you only simply go for a meeting, because sometimes you have to collaborate. Sometimes you have to do things offline. Sometimes you have to physically do such things, and that's not that easy. And companies started to think about it, how it'll be. So how can we support that? And as I said before, probably you have already engineered some great software, some great products that are supporting this offline and online collaboration. And so we did. And we are calling it 3 concepts for hybrid collaboration. And it's about equity, engagement, and ease. And these are very 3 important things that you have to consider when you are running a company and trying to achieve both offline and online workers to work in hybrid mode. So let's see how is it about equity. So imagine probably you've been sometime to a meetings with your investors, or you are an investor and you were meeting the startups. They were sitting in conference room, and you were sitting like 2 or 3 people online, and you wanted to just normally collaborate, or you wanted to be a part of a discussion. And it wasn't that easy, right? Because nowadays our current offices has only one TV, right? Or one projector. So either you will be shown in the projector, or you can be heard somewhere in the headphones, right? And to make more equity among people, we have to make them work closer. So imagine you take the screen with your people who are collaborating online, and you put them aside your seat. So they are feeling more engaged with you during the meeting. Or probably, I remember one situation that I was doing this offline and online meeting with one of my clients, and I remember that there was a halo above one of my clients' head. And I thought, wow, how is it possible? The halo above it? And it is because our current offices are not supporting offline and hybrid meetings, right? They were created to work on offline only and to collaborate in person, not having people to collaborate offline and online. So the other thing about equity is making the better, warmer LED lights. So they will put the light on your face, not on your head, on their surfaces. And another thing is about thing that is really obvious, right? When you start a meeting, when you start an online meeting, you simply click join and you are there, right? But if it's a hybrid one and you are connected and sitting in front of your computer, probably you miss something, right? Because the people that are sitting in conference rooms, they have chatted like 20 minutes before the meeting. They could have coffee, or they could have tea with each other, or they could have meet on the office space. But not you, right? You are just connecting at 2 o'clock and ready for talk. So to make people more equal, right, and to help them to create this community, it will be very useful for them to unlock their microphones while they are joining the meetings and allow people to chat 5 minutes before the real meeting exists. I'm about the engagement. So it's quite easy to say that everybody should be engaged, right, during the meetings. And of course, it's very obvious, right? So probably when you are offline, you're just meeting people, right? But when you're online, you're just joining you are joining the meetings, and that's it. But imagine that you are sitting in front of your computer. Some of your colleagues are sitting there in the conference rooms, and you are showing them some kind of a presentation. And they can choose either they will see your face or the presentation, right? When there is more people online, they can choose whether they see their faces. Maybe they will be very small, or they will see a presentation. So enabling them being more engaged by more flexible furniture or more flexible devices that will be divided, that the screen will be divided into two devices. One will share the presentation and the other one will show the faces. It will be much more engaging for them. And the last but not least, it is, right? A few years back, I remember there was a trend about bring your own device. It was a trend, right? Nobody just talked about it. It was just a trend. The companies were talking about it, but they didn't allow their people to bring their own device. And now we need to think more about bring your own software and allowing people to choose whatever software they want to use during the collaboration, during hybrid meetings. It will make them more easily to engage and to work in hybrid mode. And you may ask me, okay, why am I telling you that? Well, it's quite easy answer for me, because on daily basis I meet with clients, and clients are asking me those questions. So they are asking me, how can we make the community to be better? How can we grow faster, or how can we collaborate better? And in the end, how can we scale up faster? And I'm Wojciech. I'm representing Steelcase, and Steelcase is helping great companies to build their work environment every day. Thank you.